Heights, Detroit. Your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
Welcome to the bright side of aging. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm a pharmacist and the publisher of AmericanSeniorGazette.org. It has been wisely said, you cannot help getting older, but you can help getting old. It has also been said that age is a matter of the mind. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. My purpose in doing the show is so that seniors and caregivers can share their ideas and questions on how we can age gracefully and in a vertical position for as long as our good genes will allow. And if we've inherited bad genes, how to outwit them. Our topics include senior housing, financial, legal, safety, travel, health issues, interesting senior events in the community, and most of all, tips on how to put old on hold.
If your question is, who am I going to call to bring the kind of services into my home that I need because I can't get out? House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. They can bring in doctors, dentists, nurses, therapists, and more. And those medical services are covered by Medicare and most private insurance plans. And they have all sorts of non-medical services, whatever you need. Now, if you use 4 hours or more of non-medical services per month, you're going to get a free personal emergency button telephone that you can use for both emergencies or daily use. Call House Calls on Wheels toll-free for further information. 1-888-489-8980. That's 1-888-489-8980.
For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of people improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. If you don't hear as well as you like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have actually hearing aids that the batteries do not need to be recharged. And they also have a caption phone that you can view for free. And also the phone, if you are over 65, is available to you free. So any phone calls you get, you can see captioned if you don't hear that well. Hey, they've got other stuff. If you'd like the free cookbook, call 1-888-489-8980. That's available. You can call Cruz Hearing Direct at 877-456-2789. The number direct is 877-456-2789. And welcome, and hopefully you are appreciating winter wonderland. There used to be water there, and now it's ice, but that's Michigan. And I'll tell you, I really look forward at this time of the year for spring. It may sound goofy, but usually my favorite time of the year is right at the end of January, beginning of February, because I know that spring is going to spring soon, and it's wonderful to look forward to having a pleasant surrounding in this wonderful, wonderful state and wonderful country. It's unfortunate we're living at a time where there is so much bickering, and when you compare it to all the disasters that are going on around the world, here we're worried about whether there is fraud in voting or not fraud. It is so ridiculous that we, after all these years that have gone through so many great leaders, that right now in our country we have a few real good politicians that are devoted to what they said they were going to do when they got in the office. Unfortunately, it's sort of lopsided. And that's really the reason that we're having so much bickering and disagreement. I love this country, and I'm looking forward to really the old-fashioned way of where people that want to run for office truly run for office. The wonderful news that I try to share, since the show is titled Bright Side of Aging, we do this every week from 11 a.m. to 11:30 on Wednesdays, and 11:30 to 12 noon we go to the Entrepreneur segment. And as those of you that are regular listeners know, the on-the-air phone number is 248-557-3300. That's good for the next hour, 248-557-3300. Feel free to call in while we're on the air from 11 a.m. to 11:30. We try to stay on theme and talk about seniors' issues. If you are looking to make a move as the seasons progress, as I joke about, there is no such thing as old age. There is instead being seasoned. I'm a pharmacist and had the privilege of having Owl Drugs. My partner was a pharmacist and my cousin. We made a great team. We had over 10 drugstores. In fact, we had 10 drugstores. And we had the opportunity to be one-on-one with all kinds of different settings. We had them spread out through southeast Michigan. And as a result, I want to share some of the experiences I've had in dealing with seniors for the first half hour. Feel free to call in while we're on the air, 248-557-3300 from 11 a.m. to 11:30. From 11:30 to 12 noon, we switch gears to Entrepreneurs Network. So if you're looking to start a business or build your existing business, by all means, we're going to have some tips for you after the break in the half hour. I also want to encourage you to call me anytime on our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. That's 1-888-489-8980. And to make it easy, if you want to speak to me directly, anytime, as long as I'm awake or not on the phone, I'll speak to you directly. All you have to do when you call 888-489-8980, and you're prompted to just press number 1, and that gets you directly to me, and we can speak with whatever issues that you have. I had some interesting challenges that I don't mind sharing with you. And one of them was this elderly woman who really was very uncomfortable in reaching out to her family when she needed transportation or she needed to go to the doctor's office. Why? Because she didn't want to interrupt their busy schedule. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with family, you never know whether they really appreciate being asked to help you or they resent that you can't be on your own. You know what I've learned? Most important lesson as you age is that as you age, you feel very uncomfortable in asking for someone to help you because you feel, oh my goodness, I can't even, get dressed properly anymore. There is nothing embarrassing about having certain changes in your life. You should stay active, of course. I pride myself on reaching out to people that I feel are of the service-orientated type. That's why I belong to the Rotary Club. I also belong to the Optimist Club. The Optimist Club and the Rotary Club are service organizations, and their motto is to reach out to young people. In fact, the motto for the Rotary Club is service above all. And likewise, the Optimist Club has a similar type of theme of helping young people. You're welcome to join me 12 noon to 1 o'clock. These are Zoom meetings. And by the way, that's one of the sort of advantages now that we have in the lockdown. There is no excuse for saying, hey, I can't go, I don't have a ride or what have you. With the Zoom meetings, you can reach out to people all over the world. Now, granted, we have some people that you'd rather not reach out to no matter what the situation is. But in our Rotary Club meeting, we have people that used to live in Michigan and have moved out of state. They call in at 12 noon to 1 o'clock on our Zoom meetings. And it's like they're with us still right in our spot. Likewise, with the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, I work with all of the organizations in Michigan, like the Small Business Administration, SCORE, Senior Corps, Retired Executives. We have a talented group of people. We meet every other Tuesday, again from 12 to 1, Zoom meeting. If you would like to be on our contact list, or if you want to call in and find out when our meetings are, or if you want to start a group on your own, feel free to call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. A pharmacist friend of mine who we and I used to play every Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. We'd play tennis. We had a grand old time, and we don't do that Saturday afternoons at 4 o'clock anymore, but we try to get together. We, to Jerry Gilfix's credit, initiated a Friends Seniors group the first Wednesday of every month at the Caustic Center. You are welcome to join us. We are going to be meeting next week, Wednesday, from, actually it's from 1 to 2. It is going to be in February the 3rd, from 1 to 2 at the Caustic Center. If you'd like to get more information on it, by all means, give us a call at 888-489-8980. And what I'd like to do is, at any time that you have any questions or thoughts, while we're on the air, we can speak to you directly. As I mentioned, for this first segment, we'd like to be able to reach out to you if you have any questions in regards to some of the services that are available for seniors. Because I've been doing this now for close to 60 years, I pretty well know someone who can help you no matter what your need is. I'm serious. Always feel free to call. And I will be back after our brief break with a guest that I think you'll be really impressed with. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Family run for over 88 years, Friends Hardware has remained family owned and operated. Friends Hardware is one of a kind. You'll find the newest products offered on TV at very competitive prices. You'll also find safety products, grab bars for bathrooms, battery-operated light switches, remote control devices that you can turn your lamps on or any electrical device. You don't have to run out there anymore. Just press the button. Better yet, just visit Friends Hardware, located on Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road. They're open every day. If you wish to call, it's 248-544-8111. That's 248-544-8111. Better yet, just visit 11.5 Mile Road and Main Street, Friends Hardware. And I'm really excited about having a very interesting guest. by the name of Julie Wilcox, who is a nutrition expert and author of a new book, The Win-Win Diet, How to Be Plant-Based and Still Eat What You Love. Sounds great, doesn't it? It provides a clear-cut answers to anyone curious about a plant-based diet. It offers practical guides for choosing how to add more plant-based foods to your day without cutting out entire food groups, including, guess what, meat, dairy, eggs, and more. Wow, all my favorite stuff. I don't have to cut it out. Is that right, Julie Wilcox?
That is correct.
Wow, that sounds terrific. I'll tell you, this is a pet peeve of mine where it seems like people either are vegans or vegetarians or carnivores, I believe is the professional term. And to me, it seems life is not intended for you to cut out stuff. It's like, to enjoy life, in my opinion, you should be able to do within reason what really makes you feel good. And I'm a pharmacist, so I feel I know a little bit about the whole nutrition field, although to be upfront, pharmacists are trained primarily on the use of prescription drugs and what they can do for help and harm. And interesting enough, because I went to pharmacy school way back last century, the curriculum has changed, but we had one course where we actually studied plants and tree trunks to identify where the drugs came from. And it's interesting now, the drugs, of course, are much more sophisticated than a leaf, so there is still so much today variations of some of the classic drugs, like digoxin is for plant-based, and of course aspirin. But you put it in the food field, and then all of a sudden it's a whole new area of life. So first of all, Julie, if you could give a 60-second elevator pitch as to what got you to do what you're doing now. Go ahead.
Sure. I grew up in New York City, and actually as a child I was a very serious gymnast, training under Russian coaches with the dream of going to the Olympics. At that time in my life I had to adhere to an incredibly restrictive diet that did eliminate many of these foods we're going to be speaking about, and that was a real challenge for me. Though what I was able to take away from that experience was a healthy amount of discipline. Later in life, I became a yoga teacher and studio owner. And with that experience, I was able to learn to embrace balance and mindfulness and integrate that with the healthy discipline that I learned as a gymnast. So I was able to come to a much more contented and peaceful place in regards to food. Finally, I went to school to study nutrition and dietetics. I got my master's of science and became a nutritionist. And I really came to see how important personalizing one's diet is. That's what all the science says today. So that was the last element that I was able to throw into that bowl and blend in with the discipline, mindfulness, and balance to create this methodology of the win-win diet.
Well, you really have done a fantastic job on your book, and the title itself is a winner, the win-win diet, and it's very colorful. And I just wondered, what was your thinking process and layout of the book, so to speak?
In the layout, did you say?
The book itself, how did you go about setting up the chapters and the topics, and you have some recipes there as well, so go ahead.
Yeah, so the first part of the book basically describes what it means to be plant-based, and I dispel the very common notion out there that in order to be plant-based, you must be vegan and go all the way to that extreme. And I explain that what the term plant-based actually means is that you simply increase your consumption of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, legumes, and plant-based proteins while reducing your consumption of animal products and processed foods. But there are several different dietary eating patterns that fit within the world of plant-based eating, and many different foods that many people also think do not fit within plant-based eating that do. So the first section talks about what plant-based eating is, and a couple of the food groups, about 6 or 7 of the food groups where people commonly think there's a reason not to eat them. They include dairy, eggs, fish, meat, and soy, amongst 1 or 2 others. Processed food is in there as well. So then the second part is a guide to 4 different eating patterns, and they include flexitarian, which you mentioned, and that is for people who want to reduce their consumption of meat or make healthier choices about their meat. For instance, maybe they want to avoid eating processed meats, but not other types of meat. Maybe they want to eat white meat, but not red meat. Maybe they want to eat organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised, local meat as opposed to that which is produced on factory farms. So they can make all sorts of choices like that. And the same goes for dairy and eggs, just making healthier choices for higher quality ingredients and perhaps eating less of them. Then there's the pescatarian eating pattern, so we go through that. And that is for people who don't want to eat meat, but want to eat fish, eggs, and dairy. Then there's the vegetarian for those who want to eat dairy and eggs only, but not the other animal products. And finally, the vegan who doesn't eat any animal products at all. And in the guide, I walk you through how to transition to and between all these different eating patterns. I then provide recipes and meal plans to support each one of them.
Now, you are a nutritionist by training. Have you gotten any, for lack of a better term, feedback from the medical community as to your strategies, negative or positive?
I have. I mean, there's so much research out there that supports plant-based eating and this spectrum, this continuum of diets. So I have gotten very positive feedback.
Well, good for you. Now, without getting personal, which category are you in?
I fall within the pescatarian pattern. So I was actually an omnivore as a child. Then I became vegetarian from the age of 14 to my early 20s for about 10 years. And then I became a pescatarian, and I've been a pescatarian since.
Well, very good. Now, are there certain foods you should absolutely avoid no matter what?
I think it is most important to avoid processed meats and processed foods. So if you're going to have to choose to get rid of any, those would be the 2.
Now, are there any particular recipes from the book that you think readers will love?
Absolutely. So my morning antioxidant smoothie with homemade granola is fabulous. I have that at least 5 of the 7 days of the week. There are delicious omelets and frittatas in there. I have a go-to salad, which again is a salad that I eat on most days of the week along with something else. There are a bunch of soups that are also wonderful, crostini, plant-based meatballs, a few different taco recipes, overnight oats, and then really nice dinner options from curries to a meatless Monday stir fry, the tofu satay, sole meunière. There's even a chicken piccata recipe in there with some arugula on top and tomatoes. So there's 95 recipes. There's a ton of variety. There's something for everyone in there.
Now, as far as weight management, do you feel that a plant-based food type diet assists in that desire as well?
Yes, it's one of the laundry list of benefits that come with plant-based eating, in addition to enhanced energy, better sleep, better immunity, enhanced focus, increased strength, and prevention, management, and treatment of almost all the chronic diseases that we cope with today in the world, from heart disease to type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, depression, high blood pressure, the list goes on and on. So very many benefits, with weight loss as one of them.
All right. Now, what about the pandemic that we're dealing with now? Does that have actually an effect, plant-based foods, and helping avoid the various symptoms or results of getting the virus?
Yes, so studies over the past 2 years on exactly this topic, how plant-based eating affects our dealing with COVID-19, show that people who eat plant-based have less of a chance of acquiring the virus. They tend to have less severe symptoms of it if they get it. They tend to be less contagious, and it doesn't stay in their system quite as long as it does in others. So there are many reasons in regards to the pandemic to adopt this lifestyle.
Now, you mentioned you were a gymnast in your prior life. So were you a flexitarian then as well, or what strategy were you using at that point in your life?
So I started gymnastics when I was pretty young, and became very serious around 8 years old. So from 8 to 14, I was an omnivore still. That's how I was brought up in my family. And then when I was 14 in school, I was shown a film in biology class on factory farming, and that turned me off of meat. At the same time, one of my older sisters had already become vegetarian. And as I'm sure you know, people that we surround ourselves with have a really large influence on our eating habits and other lifestyle habits. So with those two things, I decided to become vegetarian. So for the last couple of years of my life as a gymnast, I was vegetarian.
As far as your performance, is there any way that you know that once you went on your diet that it actually improved your performance?
I think so, yeah. I think I just had a greater sense of mental clarity and focus. I had more energy to sustain 4-hour training practices. I was able to keep my weight at, a lean level, which of course is super important for high level athletes. And I did see my sleep improve as well.
Oh, great. Well, for whatever it's worth, you sound terrific, so it's working.
Thank you very much.
Now, what about your book as to its availability? If anybody wants to get the Win-Win Diet, what do they do?
They can buy it online in various places, from Amazon to Walmart, Target, BarnesandNoble.com, and then also at independent bookstores.
So it's readily available, and price-wise, I think it's quite reasonable as well. And depending on how Amazon feels, you can really get a deal.
Absolutely.
So you can reinvent your diet and take control of your health and live a better life with a flexible, sustainable, plant-based diet if you follow Julie Wilcox's suggestions on the Win-Win Diet. And who knows, you may become a real great winner. Just get the book. Okay. It's been a delight to talk to you, Julie, and keep on keeping on, all right?
Thank you so much, Ike. It was great speaking with you, too.
Right now we'll take a brief break, and we'll be right back. And here is the break. I wanted to part with my favorite thought for life and living the bright side of aging. And you can write this one down. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking and living life with the bright side of aging. Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Our mission is to interview successful entrepreneurs who are willing to share with us their ideas and experiences, both the successes and the failures. Because as it has been jokingly said, you should learn from the mistakes of others because you'll never live long enough to make them all yourself. My name is Ike Engelbaum, and I'm the founder of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan, which is a group of motivated people that are all interested in helping each other in achieving our personal and professional goals. Please check out our website, EntrepreneursNetworkofMichigan.com, for meeting schedule as well as self-improvement material. Our philosophy is that if it's to be, it's up to me.
If your question is, who am I going to call to bring the kind of services into my home that I need because I can't get out? House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. They can bring in doctors, dentists, nurses, therapists, and more. And those medical services are covered by Medicare and most private insurance plans. And they have all sorts of non-medical services, whatever you need. Now, if you use 4 hours or more of non-medical services per month, you're going to get a free personal emergency button telephone that you can use for both emergencies or daily use. Call House Calls on Wheels toll-free for further information. 1-888-489-8980. That's 1-888-489-8980.
For over 30 years, Cruise Hearing and Service has helped thousands of people improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. If you don't hear as well as you like, Cruise Hearing can help you. They have actually hearing aids that the batteries do not need to be recharged. And they also have a caption phone that you can view for free. And also the phone, if you are over 65, is available to you free. So any phone calls you get, you can see captioned if you don't hear that well. Hey, they've got other stuff. If you'd like the free cookbook, call 1-888-489-8980. That's available. You can call Cruise Hearing Direct at 877-456-2789. The number direct is 877-456-2789. And by the way, that cookbook that's referred to as one of the books that Bob Allison, who, as many of you who listen to this station know, was really one of the pioneers of radio. He was on with Ask Your Neighbor on this station for almost 50 years. He's been on radio, and as a tribute to him, he was a fellow Rotarian. We still have some cookbooks left, and we do that as a gratuity if you visit with any of our sponsors. In fact, you may know of Ari Bakery in Livonia. They're right on Farmington Road. There's Joyview Market. They're right on Joy Road. And you can get a view of them right west of Telegraph. And also we have the Cruise Hearing, as was just described. And we try to get sponsors that are reliable and responsible to help you in your daily life. And as we age, there's someone in the family that may need additional care, and that's why I'm so pleased to have House Calls on Wheels as a sponsor. I cannot stress the importance now with a shutdown that you can take every setback and look upon it as an opportunity. For example, I belong to the Optimist Club and the Rotary Club. They have clubs all over the world. There's over 1.2 million members in each organization. If you want to connect with people that want to give back, those are the organizations you can consider. My toll-free number, as I give out, is 888-489-8980. I belong to the West Bloomfield Rotary and Optimist Club, but I guarantee you there's a Rotary and Optimist Club right in your own area, no matter where you live. And if you'd like to be teamed up with a local organization, they don't charge for the visit. In many cases, they even give you a free lunch. I can't speak for all of them, but it's a wonderful way to network. The key to entrepreneurship is connections. And I cannot stress the importance, especially now, because of the shutdown, and all you hear in the news is how people are not going back to work. Many have recalculated, as they say. If you are interested in recalculating your life, surround yourself by fellow entrepreneurs like in our group. Our next meeting is going to be next Tuesday. It's a Zoom meeting from 12 to 1. You get a chance to do your 60-second elevator pitch, as I like to call it. And when you do the 60-second elevator pitch, we try to encourage you on how you can present yourself, whether you're working out of your home or you're having a one-on-one type meetings. There are quite a few meetings, if you're interested, where you do want to meet in person, that I'll be glad to direct you to. I actually am working with Dr. Kevin Poppert and his associate Josh, who Reditis, who both are talented people. We meet on Saturdays in person over at the Little Daddy's restaurant. We meet every other Saturday from 10:30 to 12. You are welcome to join us there. Just pay for the food. It's free to attend. And you have your ideas evaluated by fellow entrepreneurs. And our mission in the Entrepreneurs Network Group is to help people achieve their goals, because they more than in turn will help you achieve yours. And that's one of my real idols in the entrepreneurial world, who unfortunately is no longer around, Zig Ziglar. I had the privilege of interviewing Zig Ziglar years ago, and I'm a pack rat, so I have his interviews on, believe it or not, on an audio cassette. Yes, they are still around. And you know, that's one thing about entrepreneurship, and that's a tip that I'd like to have you consider based on my Ikeism. I have a series of them. In fact, I've put together about 365 of them, one per day, and I plan on, with the new year, implementing it and getting them out on a daily basis. But as they say, that's in the works right now. And one of my favorite Ikeisms is that the further back you look, the further ahead you can see. What do you mean by that, Ike? I'm glad you asked. I mean by that, in the days of yore, so to speak, what did you do? You associated with people and shared your ideas and the strengths. And when you do a 60-second elevator pitch now, because these are Zoom meetings, you're reaching people all over the country. And I'd like to give you my rendition of how to be effective when you present yourself. Number one, is you have to be concise and explain, and as I like to say, street smart language, what you do. And you explain it in a way that people understand what you do. And what's most important is you identify how you can help people. Nobody wants to hear about your achievements as such unless they can learn a lesson from it. And I certainly encourage you to share your success stories. But you have 60 seconds. You introduce yourself. What do you do? What is your USP? What is your unique selling proposition? What is it that you do that's better than whatever your other competitors might do? Third important thing is that how can you help someone in that group? And this is the key when you are involved in a networking group. First of all, you should arrive before the meeting starts, because in that way you have a chance to get to know who is in the group, so that when you make your presentation, you try to tie it in with the people that are in the audience. You know that line from Music Man, you gotta know your territory. So you want to make it appropriate for them. And then it is not embarrassing to ask what someone in that group can help. And one of the nice things about that type of a setting is that people that come obviously want to express what they do in hopes that they can make some good contacts. So by all means, you want to make it clear that, hey, I can help such and such a profession, and in turn, which is a good referral source for you. So you identify that. So now we have a clear, concise description of what you do, how you can help someone in that group, or in general, what is your unique selling proposition. Then what's called a IO, an irresistible offer. You might want to offer, let's say, a free consultation for an hour or what have you. Or you might want to give them a gift coupon if they indeed will meet with you. One of the biggest mistakes that you want to avoid is don't try to make a sales pitch and trying to sell people in that room what you do. Of course, if they express an interest, don't turn down an order. But everybody that comes to these network meetings is interested in making connections of how they can sell whatever they have. So you're trying to sell them right on the spot is a huge, huge mistake. Then, last but not least, make sure that you make what's called a guarantee offer. So, in other words, if anyone does use your services, that you indeed will be only satisfied if they are completely satisfied. So you offer a guarantee, offer an irresistible offer, and no matter how you want to flower it, financial rewards are always appreciated. In fact, I strongly encourage you, wish to work with our Entrepreneurs Network, you will be financially rewarded in almost every referral that you make. So in other words, rather than just sending out a box of candy and saying thank you, why not financially reward somebody that helps you? And guess what happens? People that are in business really want to make good connections of people that give back. And one of the keys that actually is almost a biblical bit of philosophy is that it's better to give than to receive. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't receive. And the financial reward is still the best that I can think of. I'd like, when we get back from our break, to share, especially now with the new year, a way that you can look on year 2022 and live a balanced life. I'll give you some specific tips on what you should do to get your life not only financially balanced, but also your whole life balanced. It's called the Wheel of Life. We will be right back after a brief break. Family run for over 88 years, Friends Hardware has remained family owned and operated. Friends Hardware is one of a kind. You'll find the newest products offered on TV at very competitive prices. You'll also find safety products, grab bars for bathrooms, battery-operated light switches, remote control devices that you can turn your lamps on or any electrical device. You don't have to run out there anymore. Just press the button. Better yet, just visit Friends Hardware, located on Main Street and 11.5 Mile Road. They're open every day. If you wish to call, it's 248-544-8111. That's 248-544-8111. Better yet, just visit 11.5 Mile Road and Main Street, Friends Hardware.
If your question is, who am I going to call to bring the kind of services into my home that I need because I can't get out? House Calls on Wheels provides both medical and non-medical services in your home. They can bring in doctors, dentists, nurses, therapists, and more. And those medical services are covered by Medicare and most private insurance plans. And they have all sorts of non-medical services, whatever you need. Now, if you use 4 hours or more of non-medical services per month, you're going to get a free personal emergency button telephone that you can use for both emergencies or daily use. Call House Calls on Wheels toll-free for further information. 1-888-489-8980. That's 1-888-489-8980.
And just a reminder, next Tuesday is going to be February the 1st. And it's rolling right by the year 2022. And I want to encourage you to zoom in on our Entrepreneur Network meeting. We'd love to have you. To get contact information, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980. And if I'm not answering the phone myself, just press number 1, and then you can be connected to me directly. And I really look forward for this new year. Despite the setback and restrictions that we have quite a few great ideas on how you can build and start your own business. And in fact, I wanted to make sure that if you're interested from 12 to 1, that you call in and we discuss the 60-second elevator pitch on how best you can introduce yourself and how you can make connections. And we have a referral rewards program that if you bring business to any of the, all of the people that are there, including myself, if you bring us a good contact and it consummates as a sale, you will make a referral fee. So you can earn extra income helping people while they in turn help you. And that's really the essence of entrepreneurship. I mentioned before we took the break that I'd like to share with you what's called the Wheel of Life. And it's best described by this professor who walks in and has 5 rocks in a jar. And it's filled right to the top with these rocks. And he asks the students do you think I can add anything more to this jar? And the students look at the jar and all nod their head no, it's filled right to the top. He said, guess what? I can. And he draws out one of the drawers and puts sand into the jar. Fills that all up. Asks the students again, do you think I can add anything more? And they all nod again, no. Says, guess what? I think I can. Draws out one of the other drawers, has a glass of water, and pours it into the jar with the 5 rocks. And then he said, well, if you do you think that anything can be more added? And they say, no. And he says, you're right. What do you think I'm trying to convey with this demonstration? Well, one student raises his hand and he said, I think it shows that no matter how much you feel you've done and filled up your life, you can still do more. And he said, actually, what it brings out is that you are able to always do more if you follow the guidelines of what these 5 rocks represent. You can't add stuff unless you follow the basics. Rock number 1 represents health. You have to take care of yourself because you, just like they announce still on the airlines, that if there's a drop in pressure, that an oxygen mask falls down. You have to take care of yourself first. If you're a mother with a young baby, you want to make sure that you are able to help the baby, so you keep yourself alive. Next is family. There are 5 spokes to this wheel of life. You have to develop a good relationship, whether it's extended family or a genetic family. And the other, number 3, the rock represents career. You have to be able to make a living and develop a way that you can be self-sufficient and take care of your family. The other is self-improvement. No matter how talented you feel you are, you always have to keep on improving your talents. And number 5 is spiritual. I don't care what religion you believe in, as long as it's a religion where it's intended to serve the civilization in a better way, and you are living a reputable life, of actually a respectful life. That's what, in my opinion, can be looked upon spiritual. I don't want to get into the religious scene, but you do have to have a belief system where doing harm to someone else is definitely a no-no. So what I am willing to offer you is a free chart that's a wheel of life, as we call it, and has these 5 spokes. If you'd like to try this, especially for the new year, we have talented people in our organization, and I pride myself on being in that category of helping you in every part of your life. So picture a wheel with 5 spokes with little notches on each spoke, 0 to 10 notches. So look upon yourself and your health. Are you the best that you could possibly be from 0 to 10? You put an X next to the appropriate notch. You may be at a 5. You're pretty good, but you could be better. Then turn to the family. Are you really in touch with your family members? And have you tried, especially around holiday time, that you can invite everybody that you want to see from your family? Or is it sort of dysfunctional? So put yourself whatever notch that you have. Then you go around to the next one with the the career? Are you making more money than you ever anticipated, or would you like to make more? Well, let's say you're at number 7. Then, likewise, with the self-improvement, how do you grade yourself? How do you grade yourself with the spiritual part? Then you look at the wheel of life, and you connect those notches and see how even a circle you can make. I've done that demonstration for years, and I've never had anybody that has a nice smooth circle around 10. And we help each other in each aspect. And when you decide to do something, it's important that you have it graphically done. And we can provide you with the actual caricature of the Wheel of Life. Plus, you can do this on your own. And take out a sheet for each area of health, family, career, self-improvement, and spiritual. And what do you do about it? Well, I'll tell you what. You put down the start date. And don't start like next month or after Easter or whatever. You start that day or the following day. And then you put down a monitoring date. Okay? And 7 days or 10 days, whatever number of days you pick an end date and constantly go over it. This is your personal diary. And I guarantee you, if you make a concerted effort to do that, if you can't do it on your own, we've got some talented people in our organization. We have business coaches. We also have got financial people. We have attorneys in our group. In fact, we can take you from A to Z in starting your own business. All you got to do is call us. Be glad to give you a free initial consultation. Phone number is 888-489-8980. Call us anytime. If you're considering now with the new year and starting a career, we can help you in that direction. And if you're a veteran, there are special veteran fees, actually grants available. We can help you in identifying that. One of our members is Sam George, who's a veteran, has Aberdeen Van Lines, and he is open to helping other veterans get into the moving business. Yes, believe it or not, if you wanted to be your own boss, one thing is for sure. Right now, with our society, people have reconsidered where they're living. They want to move somewhere else. Well, he has a turnkey operation whereby you can start your own business and there's financing available to make it happen. If you're physically able, moving is never going to go away. People are constantly going to be in need of that service. That's the type of business that you should consider. So let's stay in touch, and hopefully we can make this year the best year ever. Unfortunately, I've run out of time, and I'd like to share some more thoughts, but we'll do that on our next visit. Before I part company, I want to leave you with my favorite parting thought, which is, if you really want to get anything done in life, you'll find a way. And if you don't, you'll find an excuse. And there is no excuse for not achieving your dreams and goals in America, because it is the greatest country in the whole world. Remember, a goal is just a dream with a deadline.
WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity